Far beneath the surface of the Atlantic Ocean, where sunlight fades into darkness, lies a mystery that has haunted human imagination for more than 2,000 years. Imagine a vast island filled with magnificent temples, shining palaces, powerful kings, and technology so advanced that ancient writers described it with awe. Then imagine that, in a single day and a single night, this entire civilization vanished beneath the sea. A powerful empire erased almost instantly. But here is a question that refuses to disappear. Was Atlantis only a story, or the memory of a real civilization lost to time? Because here's what few people realize. The legend of Atlantis did not come from folklore or myth passed down for generations. It came from the writings of a philosopher who lived in ancient Greece, a man known for his careful thinking and his search for truth. His name was Plato,
Cursed amulet?
and according to Plato, Atlantis was not just a legend, it was history. Listen closely, because this is where the mystery truly begins.
Cursed amulet? Really?
Around 360 BC, Plato wrote two famous dialogues called Timaeus and Critias.
No, really,
In these
it
texts, he
glows.
describes a powerful island civilization located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we today call the Strait of Gibraltar. According to his story, Atlantis existed about 9,000 years before his own time. Think about that for a moment. 9,000 years before ancient Greece, before the pyramids of Egypt, before most of the civilizations we learn about in history books even existed. Plato describes Atlantis as a massive island kingdom with fertile lands, enormous harbors, and magnificent architecture. At the center of the island stood a great capital city, built in a series of concentric rings of land and water, almost like a giant target. Picture canals filled with ships, bridges connecting circular districts, massive temples dedicated to powerful gods. And at the heart of it all stood a temple dedicated to Poseidon, the god of the sea. But the Atlanteans were not just builders. According to Plato, they were also powerful rulers who commanded a vast empire stretching across many lands. Their fleets sailed across oceans. Their armies conquered territories. Their influence spread far beyond their island. For a time, Atlantis was the most powerful civilization on Earth. But then, something changed. Plato tells us that the Atlanteans slowly became corrupted by greed and power. Their once noble society began to decline. Their leaders sought domination rather than wisdom. And that, according to the story, is when the gods decided to punish them. What happened next is one of the most dramatic events ever described in ancient writing. In a single catastrophic moment, earthquakes, floods, and massive destruction struck the island. The land broke apart, the sea rushed in, and Atlantis disappeared beneath the ocean forever. All in a single day and night of misfortune, Plato wrote. Now you might be wondering something important. Was Plato simply inventing a story to teach a moral lesson? Many historians believe exactly that. They argue that Atlantis was never meant to be taken literally. Instead, it was a philosophical allegory, a warning about what happens when powerful societies become arrogant and corrupt. But here is where things become truly fascinating, because not everyone agrees. Some researchers believe Plato may have been describing a real historical disaster, one that occurred long before his time. And one possible clue lies in one of the most violent natural events in ancient history. Around 1600 BC, a massive volcanic eruption devastated the island of Thera, known today as Santorini in the Mediterranean Sea. The explosion was so powerful that it destroyed much of the island and sent enormous tsunamis crashing across nearby coasts. Entire cities were buried under ash and rubble.
Look at the size
At that time, one of the most advanced civilizations in the region was the Minoan civilization on the island of Crete. The Minoans built sophisticated cities, traded across the Mediterranean, and created beautiful art and architecture. Some historians believe their culture may have inspired parts of the Atlantis story. Imagine an advanced island civilization suddenly devastated by a natural catastrophe.
Hold the line.
It will be
Sound
done.
familiar?
We strike
But
at dawn,
Santorini
catch
is
them
not the only
sunbathing.
theory.
Or lure them
Over the
into the
centuries,
abyss for a
people have
swim they
searched
won't
for
forget.
Atlantis everywhere. Some believe it lies
Big
beneath the
and foggy,
Mediterranean
then
Sea.
crack and strike from
Others
the
claim it
law.
might be hidden somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. Some have
And
even
I'll
suggested
summon the deep's
Antarctica,
wrath
the
to swallow
Caribbean,
their
or
fleet
the coast
whole.
of Spain. Every few years, a new discovery seems to revive the mystery. Strange underwater structures, ancient maps showing unknown lands. unusual geological formations that resemble human constructions. But so far, none of these discoveries has provided definitive proof. Atlantis remains elusive, and yet the idea refuses to die. Why? Because Atlantis represents something deeper than just a lost city. It represents the possibility that human history may be far older and more complex than we realize. Think about it. What if there really was an advanced civilization thousands of years ago? One that vanished so completely that only fragments of its memory survived in myths and stories.
Their labor
What if
sustains
ancient
our
legends are
humblest
not just
parents.
imagination,
The stars
but
align
echoes of
for
forgotten
mischief
events?
tonight. Who dare steal
You
the
see,
high
nearly
priest's
every
amulet?
culture on Earth has stories about lost civilizations and catastrophic floods.
you!
In Mesopotamia, there is the Epic of Gilgamesh. In the Bible, there is the story of Noah's flood. In ancient India, there are tales of submerged cities beneath the sea. And in Greek tradition, there is Atlantis. Different cultures, different continents, but a strangely similar theme. A great civilization, a great disaster, and a world forever changed. Now here's something else that makes the Atlantis mystery so powerful. Even today, more than 70% of our planet is covered by ocean. Most of the deep sea remains unexplored. Entire mountain ranges, valleys, and landscapes lie hidden beneath the water. It is entirely possible that ruins of ancient settlements still rest somewhere on the ocean floor, waiting to be discovered. Modern technology is only beginning to explore these depths. Deep-sea drones, sonar mapping, and underwater archaeology are revealing things we never expected to find. Ancient shipwrecks, lost ports, submerged cities from more recent history. So imagine what else might still be hidden down there. Could Atlantis be one of those secrets? Or was Plato simply crafting one of the most powerful stories ever written? Here is what the official history does not tell you. Even if Atlantis itself never existed exactly as Plato described it, the legend may still contain fragments of truth. Ancient storytellers often blended real events with myth and symbolism. A natural disaster could become the wrath of gods. A powerful kingdom could become a mythical empire. A destroyed island could become a lost continent. Over centuries, memory transforms history into
Look
legend.
at this anomaly on the sonar.
And
Depth
sometimes,
suggests a large structure.
legend
Signature's
preserves
unusual.
history
It could be a
better
new
than we
geological
realize.
formation.
We need to deploy the ROV.
That is why the story of Atlantis
This signal,
continues
it's
to
moving.
fascinate scientists, historians, explorers, and dreamers alike. Because somewhere between myth and reality lies a question that humanity still cannot answer. What if Atlantis was real? What if, somewhere beneath the waves, the ruins of an ancient city still lie buried in silence? Its temples covered in coral, its streets hidden beneath sand, its history waiting patiently to be rediscovered. Perhaps one day, a future expedition will uncover something extraordinary. A structure where none should exist. An ancient harbor far older than expected. A forgotten city resting in the depths. And if that day ever comes, it might change everything we think we know about human history. Until then, the legend of Atlantis remains one of the greatest mysteries ever told. A story of power, a story of destruction, and perhaps a story of a civilization that once stood proudly above the ocean, before disappearing forever beneath the sea.